crafters, it's Louise with you today on behalf of Kitaholic Kits, and I am sharing a page from the January 2019 kits. What I've done is I've tried to use what is quite a pretty is the word I'm going to use. It's a pretty kit, so it's got lots of pinks and orange, and there's little pops of turquoise and yellow, and it's full of butterflies and really pretty stuff going on. But what I took that as was a challenge. So I challenged myself to make a boys scrapbook layout using what was available to me in the kit. Now, I love this black and white heart background paper, but I just wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it. And recently, while my scrappy mojo was missing, I sort of went back to my roots and started to think about some previous pages I'd done and what I actually liked on a page. And I came up with the personal preference of colour. So I like to take a paper, whether it be patterned or plain, and I like to add some form of medium, some form of colour. So in this case I've used the turquoise, just straight ordinary acrylic paint. It's the Kaiser Craft brand, but you can really use whatever you like, and I've just used a spatula and made some stripes on that background just to give that paper a little bit of colour. Now you can also see that I've also taken out any papers in the collection that had that turquoise pattern or that were black and white or darker, and that's to create layers in my background. So as you can see, I trim the papers to all different sizes and then simply add them into the background as I decide whether they fit with the cluster or not. Now the little Vicky Bouton sticker, I decided to mount that on some white cardstock. I just wanted it to stand out a little bit more. I didn't want it to get lost in those layers. So I've stuck that onto just plain ordinary white leftover cardstock, and I've fussy cut that as well. That's about as exciting as I get when it comes to fussy cutting. I'm also deciding as I build these layers that the way it looks on the background paper, it needs just a little bit of extra vertical depth to it. So I again go through what I had available in the collection that was going to match quite well with what I had going on the page, and I just needed something to stretch that out a little bit. So this straight black and white floral is really easy to use in that background cluster. Now, once I'm happy with everything off camera, I'm going to go ahead and mount that onto some cardboard. Mount it with cardboard just to help lift it off of that background. And these little butterflies on the paper clips are so cute, but I find them really tricky to use. So I do end up leaving it on the page, but it didn't need more than one. I had a lot going on. I've got lots of patterns. I've got that cluster of paper. I've still got to put a title and some journaling. I don't want to overwhelm the photo. Now I'm just going to take a couple of items here, and I decide that with this particular page, although I'm aiming towards something quite boyish, I decide that I'm going to use these florals in that background. I'd sort of been hoarding this particular sticker, but I decided that hoarding it wasn't going to get it on a page, and that I should just use it on a page that had something that I love. So I think this is such a sweet little newborn baby photo. Those florals really do enhance that background. Now a little bit of extra foam going on to that title, just again to help it come off of those colours in the background. I'm going to start to stick a couple of things down, and I'm going to do a little bit of the sticking off camera as well, because that's the kind of stuff you don't need to see in a video. These, again, I'm looking through the collection, and anything that's more neutral coloured, so these black and white stickers, these letters, so picking out parts of a collection that you can work with. When I first opened the box this month, it was full of such pretty stuff, but it was all going to be quite challenging for me to use because it was right outside of my normal colours that I would scrap with, and not only that, it was more florals and patterns that probably wouldn't feature normally in the majority of my pages. But I find that by challenging our creativity, we sometimes end up with some of the best layouts we ever create. I don't think this is necessarily the best layout I've created, but it's certainly one that I love. And I think that you can really see how well the photo blends in with the elements and the background of the page without anything particularly getting lost. So the layout's complete. I've added some journaling. Please don't forget to put journaling on your pages. It's very important. Thank you for watching, and of course check out Kitaholic Kits.